Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
What? Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Kindness Rising, your morning dose of hope, humanity, and heart. And I've got a quick question for you this morning. Why is that there? Why is that there? Why is that there? Not the big stuff. I mean the small, ordinary things you've never seen or even notice anymore. The garbage can, the way your desk is set up, the order of the things you do every morning. When was the last time you actually paid attention to the little things? Today on Kindness Rising, we're exploring the things we stop seeing because they've always been there. The routines, the rules, and the quiet assumptions that guide our lives, and what happens when we realize we're allowed to ask why.
This is Kindness Rising.
Oh, excuse me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Mike Sullivan, future life coach, like clockwork, here every morning, coming to us from the West Coast. Mike, I got your message about the impact that the show here has had on your life and the impact that Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends and the Mornings in the Lab network has had on your life. And that's why we're here. One person, one thing, one opportunity for growth at a time. So when I see stuff like that, Mike Sullivan and the rest of you that are out there, let us know how the shows are helping you right here at Kindness Rising and at Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We love the feedback from our community, and that's what we're building here. And today we are talking about things like the ordinary, the stuff you don't see, or stuff you see every day, but you don't see it. You see that it is, it's there. It's always been there. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, why have you always done something this way? And let me tell you what triggered this topic. Yesterday was a big day in our house. We cleaned out. We cleaned up from the, good morning, Roseanne. Good mom. Good morning, Mom. Glad you're here. Yesterday we cleaned it up. It's time to clean up. We take out the tree. We clean up the decorations. We left a few out for winter, but it was clean out day. And it's so stupid, but we always get a natural tree, and we would take our tree. We've been in the same house for 20 years. Tree in, tree out, tree in, tree out, through the front door, and we always went right through the center of our living room and plopped it in the same corner. And it made a mess, pine needles everywhere, constantly cleaning it up. We cleaned it up. You bring it in once and the needles, no matter how much you clean, you're always finding needles. Well, we figured out very simply that if we shift the couch about 3 feet to the right, we could slide right along the wall and drop it in. We've been doing it for years, the same way. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait a second, there's an easier way. That's called paying attention to the things that have become routine and rote in our lives. We probably brought it in through the center of the room the first year and never thought about it again. So that's what triggered today's topic, because our brains are incredible at filtering information. That's how we get through the day without feeling overwhelmed, honestly, right? We've got to filter things out and come up with routines and systems for ourselves, but there's a cost associated with that, in my opinion. And that cost of that efficiency is that we stop noticing. We stop noticing the things that are right in front of us. And it's actually been studied very well. Psychologists call this habituation, right? We talk about habits all the time here, but when repeated exposure to something, it trains your brain to downgrade that familiar stimuli, and your nervous system basically says, I've seen this before. I don't need to pay attention to it. It's not gonna impact me. So we end up becoming basically blind to the things in our lives. And I'm not just obviously I'm talking about small things, but I think it's true about the bigger things too, right? That those are the habituation, and the phenomenon is called inattention blindness. Have you guys ever seen the video? The video of the passing basketball? I don't know if anybody out there. I've seen it several times. I've been exposed to it on this topic that I get reminded of. I think it's a common topic, but it's basically an epic classic experiment that was done with people passing a basketball around, and you're asked to do certain tasks as you're watching the video. But things are happening in the video or in the scene that are remarkable, but because you're so paying such close attention to the activity that you were asked to do, the task, counting things or whatever it is in the video, um, you miss that stuff, and then they replay it slowly for you and tell you what to look for, and you're like, "Holy moly, I didn't even see that." I'll have to see if I can find a copy of that video and show it sometime. I think it's really cool. First time I ever saw it, I totally fell for it. And after you've seen it a few times and you've seen videos like it, you know what the experimenter or the whatever the publisher is trying to do or trying to get out of it, and you figure it out and you start looking for the things that everybody else isn't looking for because they've never seen it before. Anyway, but that whole phenomenon, it plays out in real life. Again, I said it before. Where's the garbage can? Where do you how do you bring the tree into the house? And it also is how we start our day, right? How we start our mornings. I think we get into routines and we just go, right? And that's why when something's out of place or whatever, we're all of a sudden like, wait, that's supposed to be there, right? When somebody moves something, right? We talk about moving it intentionally, ourselves moving something, but where are my keys? Where are my cell phone? All that. So, Daniel Allison, good morning, buddy. How you doing? Getting ready for first sip, I think, probably. Is that what you do? You watch us come and hang out with me here and then get on over. Hope you have a good morning today, Daniel, on the first sip down there in South Carolina. Absolutely. All right. So we talk about the way the familiar things play out in our lives. Again, things just fill in by default, whether it's your calendar or how you're doing things day by day. So that routine helps, but we need to pay attention to those routines sometime, I think, and say, is this really serving us? I've got some other examples too from my life, right? But there's also those bigger ones too. Assumptions about what success looks like, how much rest we think we're allowed to take, the role that we play in our family. Absolutely, Daniel. Absolutely. I hope if there are people watching here who are interested, I always like to help my friends. I know you're out there helping people get up and after it with a quick little 15-minute hitter. First Sip is Daniel Allison's show streaming on LinkedIn. If you're out there on LinkedIn, he's got a cool vibe going on down there with his buddies in South Carolina. Check it out. Anyway, that was my whole thing, was noticing when we choose to stop noticing, when we choose to be intentional. Take a look around, take a breath, take a look around and go, even at objects. Start with objects. It's easiest when you have something physical and tangible in front of you to think about, and ask, why is that there? Does it need to be there? Is it serving me by being there, or is there somewhere else that it would serve me better, whether that's through time or efficiency or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish? For me, it was the Christmas tree. I didn't want to have to trip over pine needles and find them all over the place and drag it through the whole front of the room and then back through the front of the room. Oh, It only took 20 years to figure it out. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, but that's the whole point. Sometimes we just do things because it's the way we've always done it. It's the way we've always done it. So just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Start paying attention to those things you've always just done that way and ask yourself, is there a better way? Is there a different way? That is what we're doing this morning here on Kindness Rising, where we get up every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, getting up and getting after it together on the Mornings in the Lab network, getting on over to Keith, to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends as well. And getting involved in the community. That's the key for us. That's what it's all about. For me, for sure, right now is building that community of people who want to come up, want to get here, want to get up and get after it in the morning and have a little bit of fun, a little bit of positivity instead of waking up. I mean, we obviously had a huge weekend here in the United States with crazy, absolute world politics and all that, but that's not what we're talking about. I'm sure we all have opinions on that, but maybe we'll have a little bit of a different perspective, a little bit of ability to see the other side and understand how things fit together, and ultimately that we have more in common as a people, as human beings, than we have that are our differences. Right? It's all just the window dressing, and I think the ego is what drives us, right? What are we trying to accomplish with our political leanings, with our choices, with the way we treat people and all that. But ultimately, that's what we are doing here at Kindness Rising. That's my mission, to multiply kindness, to unlock growth for good people doing good work, and to wake up in the morning a little bit, rising above the noise of the day, to start our day with positivity, with perspective, with a little bit of kindness. Absolutely. Mike Sullivan, looking at both the forest and the trees is also a great concept. Pun intended, pun fully intended. Absolutely looking at the forest and the trees. Absolutely. It's all about zooming in, zooming out. I actually, when I start getting, personally, this is my own technique. No one's ever taught it to me. I think it's just something I do, which is when I find myself getting uptight or concerned about something, that my body's saying something's going on here, I like to zoom out. I like literally physically imagine myself looking over the scene, and taking a broader view, using my imagination of it, and just saying, okay, am I just down there in the thick of things, and I just need to pull back and see how does it all fit together, and is this serving the bigger purpose, whether that's the bigger purpose of the world or my family or myself, my relationships with my wife, my work, all those things. So that's just something that I do for perspective. So Sully, I appreciate what you're saying. Absolutely. I live that, looking at both the forest and the trees. Absolutely. Thank you again for joining me here on Kindness Rising this morning. We were talking about things, objects that are right there in our world that that we tend to just trip over, or we think we can't move for some reason, and we have some friends who might be experiencing a similar.
Reggie, we can't move that.
Ugh. Why not?
Because that's where it goes. It's always been there. Just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's required.
Oh, then where should we move it?
Wherever it works now.
All right, Reggie and Rusty getting at it. We know Reggie as AKA Sensei Whiskers, and Rusty is his buddy who's just a little bit anxious about things, and Reggie's trying to help him keep his cool. That's their vibe. That's what we bring here on Kindness Rising. Reggie and Rusty. Silly. But if you like Reggie and Rusty, here's what I say. Subscribe to the channel. Come on back. See what kind of antics they get into and what happens, because they are a part of our world here at Kindness Rising. Absolutely. Thank you again for joining. Everyone who's out there, get involved in the chat. Tell us, where are you from? What are you doing today? How are you getting up, getting after it, noticing the little things in your life that will help you to maybe make a change and think about things differently. That's what we're doing here on Kindness Rising today. All right. Next, I want to make a little shift in the idea. Not just are we, that's what I'm looking for. Do we get stuck in our patterns within our objects and within ourselves? Sometimes it's about awareness, and sometimes there are rules that are thrust up. Yeah, Roseanne, Rusty would not survive. In our house. Yeah, you like to move things. On Christmas this year, Mom, by the way, when you weren't there and we were using your home as our Christmas place, you should have seen the chaos trying to find stuff. The knives used to be over there. Wait, she had the bowls over there. Wait, where's the Christmas? Yeah. We found everything and we put it back just the way we found it, and we appreciate it, Mom. All right. But I am talking about the rules that are put on us that we think are just the way of the world, and we don't question them. We just follow them obediently, right? And we start as kids, and that's what parents are for, is to give us those rules and give us those boundaries. But sometimes we have to question even those, and the ones that are thrust on us by society, that we learn in school or we learn in the playground as kids, right? And there's a movie that I think reflects some of this concept really well out there from our past. Maybe some of you know it, have seen it. It's a classic in our house. One of my kids absolutely loves this movie, talks about it all the time. I'm talking about Dead Poets Society. Do you guys know this Robin Williams movie from the 90s? I'm sure you do. But those boys, the boys in that school, they weren't rebels, they weren't lazy, and they weren't broken. They were just doing exactly what they were taught to do. Follow the rules, respect tradition, don't question authority, don't rock the boat. And in the beginning and on the surface, looks like it works. The school is a prestigious school, the path is clear. Those expectations that those kids have, they're all inherited. They're all nepo babies, right? They're polished, they're unquestioned. But then there comes some danger. And that danger is their obedience without awareness. And that's what Robin Williams' character comes in and tells them to carpe diem. He's not telling them to blow up their lives. He's just telling them to notice, to ask whether the rules that they're living by are actually theirs or somebody else's, or just something that they've been carrying since childhood. Because here's the thing, when rules go examined long enough, they stop feeling like choices and start feeling like the truth. And that's the part that sticks with us as adults, not the school, not the uniform, but the realization that you can live a perfectly successful life while quietly suffocating inside rules that you never chose. Yes, absolutely. So that's the lesson of Dead Poets Society, to maybe question some of those things that we think of as rules, no matter when our childhood was, no matter what we've learned along the way. That's what I'm asking us to do today, is to just notice the things that we don't notice. That's what I'm working on, taking a look around, trying to see things through a different lens. That's what I'm waking up with every day. And I hope that you do too. And I hope Kindness Rising is a part of that. All right. I'm just checking out what we've got going here for the show for the last 10 minutes. I've got a couple of things that I had whipped up. All right. So let's move. Let's just do it. Let's just do our kindness compass, our 3 takeaways to anchor the episode. Usually I do this later, but I'm going to do it now. So here's the thing. These are 3 simple takeaways to anchor and think about our topic today. Remember, familiar is not the same as necessary. Just because something has always been there, a routine, a role, a belief, it doesn't mean it still belongs there. Awareness comes before change. You don't have to move the litter box today. You don't have to fix anything. Just noticing is already a shift. And lastly, curiosity is kindness without pressure. Curiosity doesn't demand answers. It just asks better questions and gives you permission to choose later. You don't have to decide. Just be curious. Just ask those questions. If all you do today is notice one thing that you've stopped seeing, that's enough. Just one thing that you've stopped seeing. If you notice one thing, and you notice one other thing, those things start to come into view, and you can decide whether you want to keep them as part of your world or jettison them or modify them or whatever it is you want to do, because you are now aware of the impact of things in your life, the impact of the unnoticed in your life. Absolutely. One of the things I love doing, Mom, maybe this connects back to you moving stuff all over around the house all the time, is I just love to organize and clean stuff up. And like when things move from a state of chaos to cleanliness, I spent some time over the weekend working right here in the room that I'm in, where stuff had just been piling up, paperwork and stuff. And when I'm sitting here, it's just so much clearer for me today. Like I can actually breathe differently in this room when we allow clutter to gather. It starts to impact our mental health slowly, and then we stop noticing all those things, that pile of clothes in the corner or the papers on the desk over there or whatever it may be. So when you take a moment to notice and kind of straighten out with a focus on honestly getting rid of stuff, like I love to simplify and trim down. We all have a habit of gathering, right? Nature abhors a vacuum, and we have a habit of, I know everybody does, right? You gather things and then it just becomes commonplace and it goes off to the side and gathers, and life gets busy and it just stays there, and you walk by it 17 times and it's there. And then somebody moves it and you're like, wait, who moved it? No, I'm just kidding. But that's really a focus that I have right now, is just trying to organize and clean out and set an environment, a physical environment that matches the world that I want to create, which is calm and present and a little bit less chaotic, a little bit less crazy in the head. And I think I think creating an environment that is that way helps with that. I would be willing to bet that it's actually proven. Maybe we'll do some digging in on that one, but I think it's something that we can all focus on a little bit. Just being aware. Start with awareness. Some people like a clutter. I've got a kid who I'm trying to help figure that out, who's quite 1 in, 2 out. I love that. I love that, Mom. That's a great rule. It's a good one. At least 1 for 1. Don't add to the chaos. If you bring something in, something's got to go out. I like 2 for 1 too. That's even better. We realize, right, Mom, that the stuff is nice and it's really important to us, and it has memories tied to them, or we grow attachments to them. But what really matters are the people that we collect in our lives and have in our lives. And it's wonderful to be blessed with stuff. But that doesn't necessarily make a blessed life, having the stuff, you know that, right? Absolutely. I was going to do another thing, but we're running low on time in order to be doing that. So I guess we're just going to riff for the rest of the show. We could talk about anything you guys want to talk about out there, but I'm really excited. I'm actually excited for this week to start, even though every day is the same day. It is true that the stuff that goes on around you creates chaos, even when you try to make your day as routine and as planned as possible. The chaos around the holiday season and people in and out, and then the weather changing and all that. I'm actually looking forward to a traditional work weekend for a rhythm this weekend. Of course, I'll be here with Kindness Rising, but that's what I'm looking forward to this week, really, is getting into a rhythm. I feel like when I'm in rhythm and other things, then I can notice the things that I've been neglecting. But when all you're doing is just trying to keep up and keep going, it doesn't make for a whole lot of intentional thinking. So anyway, that's basically the show for today. I appreciate everyone who has come out here and spent time with me here on Kindness Rising this morning, as I do every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, on Kindness Rising on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. You can find me in any of those places, and I hope that you will at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. And then at 8 o'clock, get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends, your high energy, R-rated experience over their not traditional, but actually taking the morning radio show concept like it was 1990 and bringing it right here with great conversation and interesting topics for us to think about and talk about, great guests. So I hope you will join Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends next here on YouTube or LinkedIn, and Keith is on X as well. So here's the quiet truth we're going to sit with today. Nothing has to change yet for this to matter. You don't need a plan, and you don't need to fix anything. You just need to notice one thing you've stopped seeing, because sometimes the most powerful shift isn't action, it's awareness. And tomorrow we'll talk about what happens when you realize you're allowed to ask why. So come on back, 7:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow here on Kindness Rising. And until then, stay uncommon and stay kind.
Okay, Matt, we got the memo about the Kindness Rising promo, but what exactly are we promising people?
And is there craft services? Hey, I need snacks too.
Gentlemen, focus. Kindness Rising multiplies kindness and helps people get up on the right side of the bed.
So wait, we're not doing another angry headline show.
Exactly. We rise above the negative, divisive noise.
Translation, less rage bait, more high fives for humanity. And this is live, like actually live.
Yep. We go live on YouTube and LinkedIn, 7:30 a.m. Eastern every weekday.
Wait, if it's live, what if I forget my lines?
Then you improvise.
Okay, so our tagline is basically wake up, tune in, and start your day with kindness.
Exactly. Kindness Rising. Good vibes, practical tips, and a reason to get up on the right side of the bed.
You heard the boss. Subscribe now before he makes us do a TikTok dance.
Kindness Rising. Wake up, tune in, and let's make some good noise.